Might be having some trouble with the volume.
Good afternoon, Nick Nation. Welcome to the edition of Sky Hoops Streams. To join the conversation, drop your comments in the chat. And if you want to be a panelist, by all means, don't hesitate. I'm gonna be dropping that link in the chat as well. You're welcome to join us so you could chop it up with us. With that being said, I'm gonna introduce my main man Dream so he could kick it off and give us his take on yesterday's victory.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day. Good to see you. Another clap for a good victory. Just want
Yes.
to give a quick shout to our co-panelist from time to time, G Money. When he be dropping in, he dropped a score on us in our chat yesterday. That was about 2 points off of each. So kudos to him. We usually try to shout out the people to get the closest. So it was a good win. Once again, it was easy like a Sunday morning. You know, first quarter we came out. Basically Knicks. It took us a while. We got going. I wouldn't say it was a great quarter. It was a nice quarter. We built the lead. I would say the key moment in the quarter for me, Thibodeau called a timeout with about 7 minutes into the quarter, kind of like regain the composure. Let's like not let this team. At that point, we were going back and forth, so it was just like let's not let this team stay in the game with us. And I think once we got back in the game from about 5 minutes on, with the rest of the quarter, kind of dominated that quarter and built ourselves that 10 point lead or what it was. Second quarter, we came out. Both teams again is just kind of little blah, I would say. A lot of fouls going back and forth. It's just kind of like drag their both teams kind of drag their way to the halftime. And the Knicks added a couple more points to their thing, but basically it was a 25-20 quarter. Nothing really to speak about too much. Outside of that, then we step out in the third quarter. And man, Rocket Man, Julius Randle came to life, dropped about 15 in that quarter, really set the tone of how he was going to play the rest of the game and wipe it out. And pretty much after that, there wasn't really a need to use him, which was good. Also, he got his rest in. I'm sure we'll talk more about that, how important that was, especially looking forward to the next game. But in the fourth quarter, it pretty much came out to ain't no fun if the homies can't have some, and they let the whole bench get in there, and it became a little house party, and everybody got a couple minutes. So that being said, I toss it back over behind the back side pass to my man Santana.
Okay, and I'm gonna go up and under and finish off with my right with a kiss off the glass. So yeah, man, they did what they had to do yesterday, which was go out there and win that game. For the most part, they pretty much had command. Early on, they were going back and forth, like you mentioned, and stuff like that. But overall, they pretty much had command of that entire game. And so, they did what they had to do. They got that in the W column. Now we're at 36. So that
Yeah,
means that we have a winning, well, I would say at least a 500 record
500.
until we go over at least one game over 500 to say we have a winning, record.
Yeah,
But, we're right on target with our prediction. We
love
called it early.
called
We
it early.
called it from day one.
Yeah,
So, so we're good. We're good
yeah,
on that
yeah.
end. And,
Yeah.
and we got H2O to finally.
Finally come to buy in, Jeez. You know?
It had to take the actual victories to get him to believe,
It's the casual fans are easy to pull. It's the lifers that been here suffering for so long. Those are the
That's
tough
true.
ones to get over. So,
You
like you
know,
said, it's good. It's good.
for sure, for sure. But yeah, they did what they had to do, and I was glad. The most telling thing which you just mentioned is in the fourth quarter, him resting the
Yeah,
main guys overall. That was good. That was good. I was happy that he did that because again, we're going to be playing another game tonight, and
yeah,
we need our horses to be fresh for tonight's game, especially if we want to continue this new streak, because
hmm
it's a two-game winning streak.
yeah,
And if we could get that third win, that'll put us in a great position because the schedule's going to get tougher on this road
yeah,
trip.
yeah,
But with that being said, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Of course, they still need to tweak, tighten up certain things and stuff
yeah,
like that. But against a team like Houston yesterday, it wasn't that the matchups didn't dictate for them to do certain things that I was looking for them to do from the
yeah,
previous game because they didn't have people that were posting them up down low, like
yeah, yeah,
like the Chicago Bulls were and stuff like that, and they didn't have so many guys cutting to the basket, middle of the floor and then passing out as much as Chicago Bulls were doing in the previous game. But I mean, of course, you had Avery,
Hmm.
not Avery
Bradley.
Johnson,
Bradley.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's a little veteran. He's a little veteran,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we called it with what's his name? Oh man, he's having a career year. I forget his name. I mentioned it yesterday's podcast. That the big man, 6'11",
Oh,
that went
Lenny.
through a
Oh, which?
no
Oh, Wood. Christian
Wood,
Wood.
Wood, Wood,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
and he did his thing as well. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So, but we expected that. We
Yeah.
expected that. But outside of that, I mean, it wasn't that much of a big deal. Porter Jr. He had a moment here or there, but nothing extraordinary.
Yeah.
So, with that said, let me drop it off to you. Get your take. Any more input on that end? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, we like I said, good win overall. It's literally not much to learn from this. They were a young team. They're trying to figure out or find themselves all over again because of injuries or different things affecting their team. People coming in and out. But outside of that, just hope to basically get out of there without any major injuries or anything like that. We saw Noel go down, so hopefully the status comes back where it's nothing major. I'm not sure, even if he gets back, unless he's like 100%, you know what I'm saying, that I would play him tonight. And I know we're going to need him against this kind of a team because they're solid. But, overall, for the rest of the team, I thought we did what we were supposed to do. Get in, get the W, get out. Right? So, and that's pretty much that as far as that goes. But as far as digging into stats and stuff like that, I'm completely happy with any game that ends up like this. And I'm just going to use percentages today. Like 51% field goal, right? 51% from the 3-point line and 87% from the free throw line. That's just a beautiful game overall. I'll take that any day of the week, plus added in the defense, right? Because even though it wasn't one of our standout performances on defense, we did hold them under 100. And it was like an easy defense game. I would say that, there was no big runs on their part. They didn't have any major threats. So we just kind of let them do what they do. And we played our average D and still came out with a nice W. As far as their ends, they shot 43% from the field goal, 22 on the threes. We said, watch out for the 3-pointers. We thought, I told you last 7 games on average, they were putting up like 40. They put up 35, but they only made 8. So that was great, good running them off. And even though I felt like we fouled a lot, they only shot 65% from the free throw line. So, outside of that, and there was a couple of good things, our numbers wise. But the numbers I didn't really like, we had 12 turnovers. The 21 fouls I thought was a lot. It was unnecessary. I think, sometimes you move your feet a little bit more and, rather than foul, because that was we put them at the line a lot, and we gave up 14 offensive rebounds. So, I think probably a lot of that came maybe after Noel. I wasn't really tracking like when those were happening. But as
Right.
far as a final stat, you got that. So, that being said, I'll overhand lob it and send it back up to you.
All right. So I'm a tomahawk, dunk it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the key development that you raise that we have to watch carefully is the Noel injury. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it's not a lingering injury because he's been very instrumental in this streak. That
Yeah.
what we 10 out of 11 or 11 out of 12 that
Yeah.
we're in, and
Yep.
so I mean, he's definitely been a staple on the defensive end, and especially as this road trip gets tougher, we'll need him that much more.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that if he has to miss a game, it would be today's game or tonight's game, and that shortly after that he'll be able to be hopefully close to 100% for the remainder of the road trip, so that we could have a horse in there.
Yeah.
Because of course, yeah, we could get Pell in there, but I don't. I mean, he'll be serviceable, but I don't think he'll be a Noel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course Mitch is not there for, I guess, for the regular season. Who knows in terms of the playoffs? So
Mhm.
we need Noel to get healthy sooner rather than later. That way he can continue to do what he's been doing and continue to help us win. Because otherwise, what will happen is Taj Gibson will get too many minutes, And
Mm-hmm.
Taj Gibson is solid, but again, Father Time is undefeated, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he can't carry the load
Yeah.
per se. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He definitely can be a complementary player, come off the bench, spot some solid minutes and stuff like that. And even now that Noel most likely probably won't play tonight, he most likely Gibson will start. But the key is trying to get our horses ready for the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
so that way we go in there and give it our best shot. Go in there as healthy as we possibly can, and then of course let the chips fall where they may. Now of course maybe we'll get Burks back for
Yeah.
tonight's
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful of that because again, I saw him on Wednesday prior to the Chicago Bulls game, and he was out there working and on his conditioning and his
Yeah.
shooting. So if it was, obviously he was out because of the COVID protocol, but for him to be out on the floor
Mm-hmm.
during that, during that stretch in terms of even being exposed to other Knick players and even being on the bench because he was on the bench during
Yeah.
the game, that tells me that he's been cleared. At least health wise. It's
To
just a
be around the
question
team.
of
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You're not gonna expose him if he's not healthy because it's
Yeah.
gonna impact your entire team. So I think hopefully tonight he should be back. That's my expectation. But go ahead, you rock, brother.
So no, I agree. Especially like we'll just touch up on those points that you brought up. We'll start with Burks, right? So we all know, like, I mean, at some point we're gonna need him back. I mean, the team has improved and they have picked it up. I'll say, with his absence, but like anything with this team, we don't want to do any. It's self-sustaining. All the pieces work together. Once you start having pieces out for too long, then yes, we can keep it going for a little while, but we start to feel it in certain other areas. So getting Burks back would be a big shot to the offense. Not that we need it, but we do need it because going into playoffs, we want to have everybody healthy and running and getting at all gears. And I know in last podcast we talked about getting them back because it's a good game for it to get healthy as far as flow wise, getting your rhythm, back into your shooting and stuff like that. So yeah, you said you saw him shooting around, and that was great because that's exactly what I was hoping was happening in this time off. Especially we had a couple of days in between games before we even came to Houston. I'm just hoping he's always getting in the gym as much as possible and that he's getting up his shots and stuff like that. Great to see him on the bench because we do know that step is you do get back in the lineup. So, and I think for this road trip, we do kind of need them because, um, you know, people come and go as far as their point production. With the quickness of the world, I'll say. And yes, he stepped it up in this portion, but it's primarily been home, and he gave us some points yesterday. So I want to keep that going. I'm just hoping that he's learning how to be sustainable with his output, where he doesn't come back and start having these 2 point games again. So that's why I start to worry when Burks comes back because I think like now he's getting in a flow. So how does he mentally adjust to having Burks back in the lineup? Also, will be crucial to our progress. And basically at this point we're gearing for the playoffs. We're getting ourselves ready. So we're getting a little help in the standings from other teams, but that being said, we still need to just handle our business. All right. So that was Burks. Taj, we seen what he can do. Again, these guys, he'll step up, and with and you don't even have to ask much of him. He just comes in, he's solid, he does what he's supposed to do, and but he is nicked up himself. He got scratched in his eyes, like not too long ago. I'm sure he's dealing with a little bit, this and that, that we're not even really aware of because he's an older guy. So it's like we're playing. It's like a deck of cards, house of cards. I'm saying, like that could fall at any moment as far as him. My question really wanted to ask is like, what's going on with Henson? Have we heard anything about his progression, his readiness, I know originally he was coming in on protocol, he was out, but at this point, haven't really heard anything about his availability. And at this point, going into this road trip, I think it would be nice to have him, on deck as a body to throw out, especially like a team like tonight because they're gonna have like bigger bodies and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
I don't just to answer your question, and then you can
yeah,
finish
yeah.
your take. Henson didn't get re-signed for another 10 day.
Oh, that's what happened with him. So he's
Yeah,
out.
yeah, Yeah, he's
Okay,
out.
okay,
He's out.
okay. All right.
He's out.
So I was curious about that. All right, so that was pretty much it with my little, my 2 cents and stuff like that. So, because that was the last one I wanted to touch up on, but I did see my man streaking in down the sideline, so I'm going to toss it to him for that deep three. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna cash and splash it like Chef Curry.
Yeah, yeah.
Salute everybody. Hope everybody is
Salute.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
I did even though I got the score wrong. I told you guys we're gonna win by 25. I told
Oh,
people. I said again. I know the narrative is, oh, you don't know what can happen. That is true for certain things, but for other things, you do know what's gonna happen.
yeah,
I did predict for us to blow out the Rockets because I said to myself, Houston doesn't have enough firepower. They're coming off a back-to-back against Golden State. They got killed in the second half of that game. I said New York is going to come out. We came out a little bit sluggish here and there, but I
yeah,
said we're going to take our time. We're going to execute and defend, and that's what we did, though. So that's what happened in the game, though. And Julius
yeah,
ran another MVP type performance. RJ Barrett was another big performance. Derrick Rose, he was humongous. His three ball was falling like rain. And Emmanuel Quigley was cashing from logo range. Chef Curry range. Woo!
yeah,
It's crazy. And everyone else did their part. Sadly, Noel is hurt. Hopefully he can recover. Hopefully he can recover because he's having a great year because we don't want to lose any more bodies going into the
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah,
And tonight will be tough, man. Tonight will be tough because now we're playing a Grizz squad that just came off a tough loss against the Magic, being up 20, and then the Cole Anthony shot. And also, you have to understand,
yeah,
Memphis is only a half game up on Golden State. They're only one game up on San Antonio. This is going to be a challenging game, man. It's going to be very challenging because also the last time we played them is when we started turning around our season. They were up huge on us in the fourth quarter, but they got careless, took some tough shots, missed some free throws, and we took advantage and we won the game. It's going to be a very challenging game, especially if Noel can't play because we got to try to rebound over Valanciunas, and we got to try to watch out for Jaren Jackson because he can shoot the three. And we got to slow down John Morant, man. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I know we don't want to talk about predictions. I'm not making a score prediction right now, but I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm a true Knicks fan, and I'm happy we had a great year. We're in for a rude awakening tonight. I think tonight we get. I would love for us to win tonight. We can very well win tonight, but I think we drop this game. I'm going to be honest. I think we drop in Memphis because, like I said, it's hard to sweep a team. And yeah, we're fighting for a playoff spot, but so are they. And also, Memphis to me is going to play Memphis will play with anger tonight because I assume Golden State is going to beat New Orleans. New Orleans is streaky right now. I assume Golden State is going to beat New Orleans. It's in a back-to-back flying from Texas to Tennessee, man. Even though we could very well win tonight, I think we drop this game. I'm sorry. I'm a true Knicks fan, but I don't think we win tonight. For that, I'm gonna do a alley-oop to Santana.
Thank you, G Money, the prodigy in the house. So
yeah,
yeah, in terms of this game tonight, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Of course, like you said, G Money, um, Memphis has a lot to lose
Mm-hmm.
because it's so tight in the West, and
Mm-hmm.
every game counts. So they understand that. Of course, now they're getting their horses back, and their horses are solid players. Jackson is a tremendous player. We,
Mm-hmm.
we don't even have to talk about Morant. Morant is in a stratosphere by himself. So we're gonna have our hands full. It's not gonna be an easy game. I'm hopeful that the Knicks do have Burks come back and play. I see no reason why he wouldn't play. Yes, the Noel injury is the X factor. And I don't know if he's going to play tonight, considering the extent
Mm-hmm.
of his injury. I don't know. I hope so, but we'll see. We'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. I don't know to what degree he may be injured, but we got to look at this in the context of do we want a short term a solution or a long term solution, and that's the way we got to look at the Noel factor right now because he's so critical to our success in the
Mm-hmm.
long term that if he's not there yet, meaning being able to play today without overcompensating, because that's the key. That's the point that you were making earlier, Dream, about, sometimes one guy gets hurt, we try to make it up in another area, but it impacts us in other ways. The same thing happens with a ball player. A ball player hurts his ankle, his right ankle, he starts to land more on his left to overcompensate or to soften the cushion or the blow of the shock that goes up through your body when you land on the floor, and then that's when you get hurt again. And so, that's why I say, as much as I would like to see Noel play tonight, if he's not close to 100%, maybe I would table him so that we could get him healthier, because we're going to need him, hopefully, for the remainder of this particular road trip, but especially for the playoffs. That's going to be the key. You know what I mean? In terms of Burks, like I mentioned before, I really want to see Burks play tonight. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't play tonight. Okay, considering that he's already been with the team since the Chicago Bulls game. So, that gave him ample time between now and then. I mean, then and now, to be able to go out there, get his conditioning back. Also, an opportunity to get into game shape. This is a game to take advantage of that, because it gets tougher the further we go along into this road trip. But with that being said, because I know that Bill Stradamus just joined us, I don't want to eat too much of the meat. I want to drop it off to Bill Stradamus so he can start off wherever he wants to start off. If you want to talk about the Chicago Bull game, you're welcome to. If you want to talk about the Memphis game, you're welcome to. If you want to talk about both of them, you're welcome to, brother. Rock, brother.
Fire away.
Salute, fellas.
Salute.
I'm actually want to pick up on the Burks talk, because he has been back for a couple of games now, but he's not playing. And my thought is that he's not all the way there yet. Similarly to what happened with Rose. Remember when Rose came back, his first few games, you can tell he was still out of it for whatever reason. Maybe his body was weak or what have you. And then he went out again, Rose, for a couple of games or what have you. Then he returns. Maybe they're trying to ensure that the same thing doesn't happen with Burks. I hope that's what it is, because I see him on the sidelines, and he's around the other teammates, so it's not his health, his overall health. It might be. I'm thinking it's conditioning.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I just I want him to come back. However, if he's not strong enough, then do whatever you need to do to get yourself strong enough, because you need to get some games in running into the playoffs. And we stated yesterday, or we were stating yesterday, the fact that we have this 6 games on the road thing going in, this is better. This will be a good thing for us, because then I think our last 3 games are at home, and going into the playoffs on that would be better. Because I don't know, because we need to treat these road games. Each game we have to look at it like a playoff game.
They're all playoff games, yeah.
They're all playoff games, and we have to go in there feeling that we can win these games as well. We can't go in there like we have the Suns at some point. We can't go in there going, oh well, we have to go in there with the, we owe you one, because we should have won that game at home last week. That was. So we have to go in there with that mindset with all of these games. Today's game is not going to be an easy game. That's a young squad over there who's fighting for their playoff lives. They just happen to be over on the West Coast, so they're going to bring their A game. They're definitely going to bring their A game. And what we have to do, we have to be steady, do the things that had us on that 10-game winning streak. 9. And then 9-game winning streak, and then once we picked up, now we're back on a 2-game winning streak. We have to do those things, the positive things, like control tempo, because if you don't, those guys will run. They'll just run us out of the building. We have to control tempo. We have to shore up our transition D. The transition D is a must for us. We have to basically slow the game down to our liking, and we have to do inside, outside. I think offensively, I say we have to go inside first and kick everything out. I think that'll be paramount to us being able to just to walk out of there with a W. As far as the Bulls game, not much to say. We did what we were supposed to do. Randall, Barrett, Rose, Quick, guys showed up. Now I am worried, and I heard you guys, but I didn't catch it clearly with regard to Noel. Because once he went out of that game, he never came back. And I was a little concerned when I saw him walking to the back. And once he, does anyone know if is he scheduled to play tonight? Is he?
We don't know.
You
Just
don't
says
know
day
yet.
to day, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten like
I don't think he plays tonight.
Yeah.
Well, then if he doesn't play, that means Taj and Pell, they'll get the majority of the 5-man burn. And listen, next man up. We have to do what we have to do. We are going to miss that shot blocking, though. We're definitely going to miss that if he doesn't play. So, we have to, like I said, stick to our guns. Offensively, inside out, as opposed to going in there and start chucking up threes and trying to run with those guys. We should not do that. That should not be our game plan. Like I said, limit our turnovers, rebound the ball, and play solid D, and we should be okay. With that being said, who am I passing the rock to? Over up top? Okay, I see you coming behind from the peripheral, so I'll just bounce the ball and let it go up and move out of your way.
I'm going to snatch his spin and drop it backwards. Ooh. So, before I get started on this, G Money, if you go back to the tape, once the show's over, in the beginning, we did throw a shout out your way for being so close on the score, because that's the thing we do on this show. Whoever gets the closest, we like to shout them out. Yeah. So we did mention that before you got onto it, just so you know.
I was just 2 points off for each side.
Yeah, I know. We said that.
That's how I got my name, G Money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Early on, because he called it. That's right.
I called the game, and then that's how I got the name. So congratulations, young man.
There you go. Now it's working for the Prodigy too. So with this game, like you said, both teams coming in off back to back. They were in Orlando, so they also had to fly in, even though they're home. So we both flying into the same place. The difference is the type of games that we played. Memphis had a drag out match with Orlando. Most of their starters played 30+ minutes. They had like 96 attempts, field goal attempts. So they were just running and gunning pretty much the whole time, and that's their pace. But hopefully that works to our advantage. Our game, we already know, the 122-97. We blew them out. We got rest. Only 2 of our guys played 30+ minutes, and we had 87 attempts. So that was more of our natural game. And so we got a rest and blew a team out and got to basically come in here the best possible way we can be prepared for this game. Now, the watch list, we already know. Usual suspects is Morant, Anderson, and Brooks. And people to watch is Jackson and Valanciunas, like you guys mentioned before. But 2 guys off the bench also I'd like to mention is Bane and Clark. Those are 2 guys that we need to watch out for. And, outside of that, we get into the score-wise points. They go 113 and they give up 110. So it's a little tight there. But still, I'll do a plus-minus because I think they're going to come back. They do have something to prove as far as that overtime. But I'll do plus-minus with the 5. And, I'll drop my score first. And then I'll come back for final analysis. But 112-108 Knicks. And I will send it cross-court to G-Money.
You made some good points, man. So yeah, like I said, man, both teams are fighting for their playoff lives. We're trying to hang on over Atlanta, Miami, Charlotte, Boston, teams like that, and Memphis is trying to hold off San Antonio, Golden State, so they can get to the postseason. We just got to rebound the ball. I'll give my score a little bit later, but we just got to rebound the ball. We got to watch out for Jaren Jackson's perimeter shooting and athleticism. And we got to watch out for Dylan Brooks. I know Dylan Brooks can be inconsistent, but he can get hot though. So we got to watch out for him. And we got to slow down John Morant and make sure to make sure we force him to jump shots. I know he hit them in New York, but we end up winning the game though. So let's just force him to tough contested shots and prevent his dribble penetration. And also, Fifth has to outcoach Taylor Jenkins. He has to outcoach Taylor Jenkins though. I'll give my score a little bit later because we just came in the stream. It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna come down to the wire. It's gonna come down to the wire because it's like because remember, like I said, it's hard to sweep a team in the regular season. It's very hard because usually the team that loses the first or second time will come out guns blazing though. So I think it's gonna be a challenging game. And I think our magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 4 or 5. I think so. So we're getting close to the clinch a playoff spot. So we gotta come out with the right focus. We gotta come out and play Knick basketball. We cannot play fast. We gotta play grind it out. We gotta make the game dirty. And also we gotta watch out for the Grizz because Memphis can shoot threes a little bit though. So we gotta watch out for that. And and that's and our bench has to outplay their bench. Our bench was phenomenal last game against Houston. So let's see if our bench can show up in this game. So with that, I'll give my score a little bit later. With that, I'm gonna do a bounce pass to Bill Stradamus. Muted.
Thank you for that bounce pass, and I'm gonna lay up and then correct myself. In the last segment, I was talking about the Bulls game as opposed to the Rockets game. So I have to correct myself on that, but my sentiment remains the same. That the guys stepped up and did what we were supposed to do, and we controlled. What's the guy with the hair?
For the Rockets?
Kobe White.
Kobe White for the Bulls.
No, that's for the Bulls.
For the Bulls. See, I'm never mind. Never mind. I'm just lost. Yeah, I got my head halfway in work stuff. So forgive me. I apologize to you guys.
No problem. Don't worry. Mo would have had hair too.
Ja Morant is going to bring it, and I think one of you mentioned Bane and Clark. Watch out for those guys. Those guys, and those guys like to get out and run. But you guys have all said it. We control the pace, rebound, limit our turnovers, and we should be okay. Hopefully, Noel is well enough to play, and hopefully Burks is well enough to play. Going down this stretch, like I said in a prior segment, we have to treat each game like a playoff game because that will bode well for us actually going into the playoffs. Our last 3 games, I think, are at home. We got to get all 3 of those. All 3 of them. And then going to the playoffs, we'll have a better idea of who's going to be playing, who's not. That I doubt if Tibbs is going to be playing 10 or 11 guys in the playoffs. I doubt that. And what I don't want him to do also is this guy that we just picked up. Don't start experimenting and putting this guy into. I'm talking about Luka. Yeah. I don't think we should see him in the playoffs unless something happens to one of our guards and then he's forced to be thrown in there because he doesn't yet have the chemistry that we've developed and built over this period of time. So he needs to sit and watch, and unless he's going to throw him in right away during these last what do we got, like 9 games left? If he's going to play within that and try to develop chemistry and all that, then that's one thing. But if you're not going to play this guy, don't try to surprise everybody in the playoffs and throw this guy in there because I don't think that would be good. That would be good for us at all. I don't think so. Now, if Noel's injury is worse than we, thought or think, then are we going to have to go out and pick up a big man again? Are we going to have to do that again? Because we had Henson, remember, but they cut him loose. And now what are we going to do? So
I literally just wrote down, like, I got to track how many spots we got left in the lineup.
Yeah, because I think I would say 2 maybe?
Maybe 1. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm saying, it would be if Noel is out, then that would be 2. Because I think we do. I think we have 1. I think. But I mean,
like slot. Positions that you could bring in to fill it, because you're not, you can only have like what 15 on a team or something like that. Carry.
Yeah. I think he can carry 15.
Yeah.
And it may be they may have upped it to 16 because of this COVID situation.
Oh yeah, I'll check that.
Yeah.
Myself.
So, but I'm just I'm amped and I'm just anxious to see how we're going to handle this road stretch and how we're going to go back home, finish out the season, and head into the playoffs. We're at 4 now, but that could easily, turn to 8 if we're not as focused as we need to be.
Right.
I don't know the schedule of the other teams like Atlanta or what have you. And
you want me to bring them
can't
up?
worry about that. We can't worry about that because we have to take care of business.
Absolutely.
And hope that when these guys are playing that they just lose. That's all. So with that being said, I'll throw a over the head lob to the Dream, and I'll move out your way.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm gonna fake the power dunk and just softly just kiss it over the rim. So
Nice.
the Vildoza pickup. So my thoughts on this is just that they're trying to see if he's gonna beat anything. Now, like you said, where do you try to slide him in? It has to be an experiment at some point, whenever he does get here or whatever, right? The other issue is, see what he has. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much he's going to be part of anything going forward, but I guess that's what they're trying to decide. Did they find a little diamond in the rough here or anything like that? Because then they got that decision to make when going into free agency next year. So if he is going to be a little something, then they need to figure that out real quick. The other part of that though is that with that signing, they took away the signing of the other big man that they brought up from the G League. So that could have been important for a game like tonight to have him also as a backup big man, behind Pell now, I guess, right? Because that's how everybody just shifts up a little bit. So you would have had at least a third big man because they got a lot of bodies, man, in Memphis, But, outside of that, as far as the game goes, like I said, just got to watch out for the usual suspects. We said it's going to be a tough game, but here we are faced with another a chance to sweep a season series. So I want to get it in on that, and basically send these guys home for early hibernation. And basically, and I already shouted out my score to 112 to 108. And that in itself says it's going to be a tight game. And last time, we got the joy of that overtime game, so that was really nice. But with Jackson back in the lineup, this is a different beast. So I'll say that. I really enjoy watching him play. I've seen his game going back to Michigan State. So I've always enjoyed watching him play, and I thought he was kind of a smooth big man with a nice offensive game. And I think his dad played in the league too, right? Wasn't his dad Jaron Jackson, San Antonio, or something like that? Kind of, I think it was that guard, that rough, rugged guard, whatever. So he's got pedigree. And he's not scared, so he's definitely an effective player for them. And I think they've been using him off the bench the last couple of games just to get him going. So that'll just add to their amount of firepower coming off the bench. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So that being said, I think I'm done. And I'll toss it back down to G Money.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a very, very challenging game. Just like I said, with Jaron Jackson, it helps with the floor space, and he's very athletic too.
Yeah.
Because remember, last year the Grizzlies came super close making the playoffs, but he got hurt. COVID happened, and then they lost the play-in to Portland. So this year, it's gonna be tough though, because like I said, we also have to watch out for those long rebounds, and we have to try to, cut off transition. The Grizzlies like to run and get up tempo, so we got to watch out for that. And if Grayson Allen does play, because he's day to day, if he does play, we got to watch out for him though. So that's what we need to do. If I had to make a final score prediction, look, I want the Knicks to win. We have had a great year, but I think we're gonna hit with a rude awakening tonight. I'm going Memphis 115, New York 113. I just have a feeling that Memphis, again, I'm a Knicks fan, but I gotta be honest, you also have to consider this though. They're gonna play with anger, because remember, last time they played us, they lost a heartbreaker. And like I said, they only a half came up on the Warriors right now. and they're a game up on the Spurs. The Spurs are in Utah without Donovan Mitchell, and the Warriors are in New Orleans tonight. Oh, just another quick note before we get back to the Knicks. Did you know that ESPN is actually doing a Marvels type game with the Warriors and the Pelicans on ESPN too? What do you think about that? I'm gonna just make it quick though.
It'd be interesting. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. But back to the Knicks and the Grizz. Even though New York will be very competitive in a back-to-back against a team that's very hungry to not only make the playoffs but to get revenge on us, it's hard to sweep a team. Even though we can very well win this game, if I have to be a betting man, I say Memphis 115, New York 113, because I think that Memphis also is due to win a close game themselves. Because remember, like I said, against Orlando, they were up 20 in that game in that third quarter, and then they let the foot off the gas. And then we all remember Cole Anthony hit a clutch three over Kyle Anderson to win the game. So I gotta go, and again, Noel. We don't know if he's gonna play or not. We don't know if Al Burst is gonna play. We may get a little bit fatigued and stuff. So even though we could very well win tonight, I gotta go. I think we're gonna lose by 2. I got Memphis 115, New York 113, and with that, I'm gonna do a wraparound pass to Bill Shadamas.
All right. Doesn't it come to you? Yeah. I'll take
Move
the
it,
pass.
Yeah, coach. Put
And
me in,
I'm
coach.
gonna tap the pass that came to me over to my right side so that Santana can get the touch.
Thank you,
Nice.
thank you, thank you. I'm gonna do a Dominique windmill dunk to,
Sweet.
cement this. So yeah, man. I mean, definitely it's gonna be a tough game tonight. Uh, the matchups are gonna be what they are. Of course, Memphis likes to run. So what we need to do is we really have to control pace. We have to make sure that we limit them to one shot per possession, and we make sure that we secure the ball on the offensive end. On their offensive end or our defensive end, because you don't want to give teams second shots. And yes, Memphis is going to be hungry. They missed out on the playoffs, in this past season or last year, and they don't want to feel that, or that experience, taught them to not take games for granted, to close out games, to finish strong. And so they know what's at stake here with them being, separated by a half a game or one game between the teams nearest them, who also want to make the playoffs, be it San Antonio and so forth. So we can't take them for granted. We got to make sure that we go out there and we play as fundamentally sound as we need to be. That we can be. And on top of that, we got to make sure that as many healthy bodies that we have, we got to play them. We got to play them now. We got to play them now because we want to win the games. We want our guys to get the minutes, but we have to get the Burks in there. We have to get them in there. I mean, I don't see a reason why not to get them. If you want to get them in game condition, put them in the game.
Yeah.
Put them in the game. That's the only way you're going to get them in game condition, because you could practice all you want, but there's two different levels, man. When you're practicing is one level. When you're playing a game, that's a whole nother level. And that's why we need him to play. And of course, he's only going to help us. Okay. Hopefully he'll get into a rhythm. That's the key. Whether he does or doesn't, we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is a conditioning game for him, but he has to go out there. He's got to do it. One thing that I noticed I think it was the Chicago game, and that was Quigley was playing some defense. Okay, he got into foul trouble. He ended up with like 4 fouls or 5 fouls.
5 fouls.
I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? We need our guys who are not going to get the bulk of the minutes to not be afraid to foul, because if they're fouling, that means they're playing some kind of D. Right. And that's what we need. So we need those guys to carry that into this game. Pick up guys on the full court. This is an opportunity to take the ball out of Moran's head. Pick and choose your spot. What did we learn from the Chris Paul debacle? At the end of the game, we just played him one-on-one. No. Jay Moran's going to be as explosive as Chris. So we gotta show him different looks so he could hesitate. He could think twice before he just goes off and shoot the ball. These are those moments where you could throw those little wrinkles in the game to throw another team off and still have your staple defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking for Tibbs to do. Possession, transition defense, limit them to one offensive rebound. To one shot so that we get the defensive rebound and then we go back down court. If we get a breakaway, we get a breakaway. If not, that's okay. Let's control the clock. Let's work the clock. Because if we're working the clock, that means less possessions for them as well. But if we're coming in and shooting at the rate that they're shooting, quick and dirty, we're not playing our game. So that's the way that I would approach this game and let the chips fall where they may. With that being said, I'm gonna throw out a prediction in terms of a score. If they do all those things that I just talked about, which I expect them to do, because this is a prime game to do those things, then I would say the Knicks win 105 and the Grizzlies only score 103. It's a 2-point differential. That's my prediction. With that being said, I'm gonna do a Mark Jackson bounce, between my leg pass, like a la Ewing, and I'm gonna get out the way to set up Dream for the dunk.
Oh man, I'm gonna take one extra Euro step. I'm gonna spin it off the backboard left side, catch it with the right side, and ram it on this guys. This time, game time, baby. Time to take it home. So,
You get a 10 for that one.
Yeah, you get a 10 for that one. Yeah, that's it. Put the numbers up, right? So, yeah, man. I mean, I think we touched on all the aspects of the game and what we can expect and what we want, right? So basically, what this comes down to effort and heart as far as the Knicks are concerned, because all the check marks, like G Money said, is all in the favor of Memphis, right? They got the revenge factor, they got the bad law or the close loss factor from the night before, so they're all revved up and they want to get going. Plus, they want to get backs against us, and and the final thing is that they're scratching and clawing, and the desperate teams, like we said, desperate teams are dangerous teams, man. And these guys are scratching at the bottom. They're where we expected our team to be, scratching and clawing for the bottom, but we got ourselves together. We went on a run, and now we don't have to worry about that. We just have to sustain that for the rest of the way. They're fighting, and the teams that are below them fighting even harder than they are. So, and that's really what it'll come down to: effort and heart. That's how you win this game tonight. And we all said it was going to be close. I only had 4. A couple of you guys got it within 2, so it's going to be a close, And so. I should have wore my fatigue hat because we getting ready for a fight tonight, but we'll save that for the next one, and outside of that, I think that was all I really had to say. So I'll just toss this up in the middle for whoever wants the last lip service.
Go ahead, G Money. Start it off with the final take, and then we go around the horn to close it out after you.
My final take, we just gotta hang in there. We gotta jump on the Grizzlies early. And like I said, we gotta get the ball out of John Moran St. Don stretch of the game. I'm happy that we've overachieved to this point. But what killed us against Phoenix, we allowed Chris Paul to get the ball in a close game. We gotta get the ball out of John Moran and dare other guys to beat us. Also, we got to play smart New York Knicks basketball and limit turnovers. And we got to, like I said, be aware of those loose balls. If we can scrap, dive for loose balls, we should be fine. But I gotta be honest, I'm a true Knicks fan, but I gotta be honest. Even though I think we will win in Denver and against the Lakers, the Clippers, maybe, I think we dropped this game because, like I said, it's hard to sweep a team in the regular season. 2, like I said, even though we're fighting for a playoff spot, so are they. They're fighting for a playoff spot. And also, Jaren Jackson is back. We knocked them off last time, but then I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just using context. They're not Jaren Jackson last game. So and I think he has a big game today though, because usually even though we're a good team, sometimes when we play a certain opponent, random guy shows up. So we gotta watch out for that though. So, and I just think that the Grizzlies are gonna play with hunger tonight, because like I said, they had a bad loss to the Magic. So I expect it's gonna be a tough game, man. So we just gotta stay in the game. We gotta have a good lead, and we gotta avoid fatigue, man. We gotta avoid fatigue. So I think my final take is we just gotta compete, fight, and we can get closer to clinching the playoff spot. We're getting close. We can get closer to clinching the playoff spot. I think we will go 3-3 on this road trip. At best, I say 3-3 on the road trip going to the homestand. But I think we dropped this game because it's been a back-to-back against a hungry team. It's going to be tough. We don't know when Alec Burks is coming back. It's no one's going to play today. We don't know. It's next man up. So we just got to see what happens tonight. So for that, I'm going to do a no-look dish to my man Bill Stradamus on my right.
Thank you. And I'm going to lay it up and call the N1. One thing that I did like in the game yesterday against the Rockets and not the Bulls, Derrick Rose's play. Derrick Rose has been playing like a real point guard out there. He's not able to do what he did back in 2012 or what have you. However, he still has that point guard, that guile and that tenacity, and he makes them worry about the Knicks because of him. And his passes, he's throwing dimes like it's almost surprising to me, but I've seen his game develop into where he was at that young superstar with the athleticism. He lost a lot of the athleticism. However, he still has the smarts up there. And he's throwing dimes that catch me off guard where I'm like, ooh, as if I've never seen the guy play before. So that is going to be paramount in us winning tonight also, because he has to stay attacking those guys and make them worry about him and us as much as we're worried about Morant and Jackson, those guys. I think that if the Knicks do all of the things that Santana brought up, Dream, and even a couple of the things that G Money brought up, and understand that the Grizzlies are coming in here to give us their A game, I still think that we can walk out of there with a 116 to 110 victory. I think, I think we're gonna get them 116 to 110, because what I have seen in our past, let's say 10 to 15 games, that the games where we may go up big, and the other teams make their comeback. Even if they come back to the point and take the lead, we don't give up. We still push and fight and claw to the end. And I think that was lessons that we learned earlier in the season when we were dropping those games. So I don't really have a fear of us going up big in the first quarter, what have you. I expect the other team to come back. And like with yesterday's game, they came back, and we didn't have a real good third quarter, which has been our Achilles heel throughout the season. But we had enough to hold on, and then come the fourth quarter, we pushed the game, back up and out of reach. And I expect that we'll continue on that trend. I think we look like we're playing better also with each passing game. Even in that game that we dropped to the Suns, we were playing. We were there. It's just that, Chris Paul had some type of flashback mixed with luck. And everything that the guy threw up, everything that he threw up was just going in.
Yeah.
He was played solidly defensively. Whoever was guarding him, we played him solidly. However, his superstar magic came out on that particular night.
Yeah.
But us, we're still playing. We're playing very, very well when we play smart and control pace. Like I said, the games where we come out trying to go one-on-one, that doesn't work for us. The other games, when we come out and we control pace, move the ball around, concentrate our transition to D, grab rebounds, we feel better in those. And right now, who am I passing it to? Am I passing the rock over to Santana? Because I got to take this phone call.
Dream, do you have anything last minute?
I got no final take. I got a final dunk. I'm gonna jump up. I'm gonna stick the ball behind my knee, tie my sneaker, and then take it back up with the left and dunk it. And then you can have it back. Yeah.
It's hard to follow that up. But I'll say this. tonight's game is going to be is a gut check for the Knicks. You know what I mean? It's about them being able to put a game together based on what they do best, and hopefully be able to close out that game. Just as much as Memphis is trying to claw, the Knicks got to approach it the same way. The Knicks can't approach it, well, we've arrived and we got a play-in spot guarantee, and then if we split here, there, whatever, the next few games, then we lock in a playoff spot. The next game is today's game. That's going to get you closer to a playoff spot. That's the sense of urgency that they need to approach this game with. They can't just say, well, we can't, we may not be able to match their energy, or, if they come out, and we don't play up to us, we still got a few more games. No. You want to lock and load in tonight, because this is a winnable game. Those other games, I think, are going to be tougher to win. They're going to be much tougher to win because they're better teams. The Denvers, the Lakers, the Clippers. Those are tough teams. It's not going to be easy to beat them. So, with that being said, you got to lock in today. Do whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. Pull every little trick out the bag to pull this game out. Treat this game like a do or die. You're in or you're out playoff game, so that you got the right mindset. That's what you got to work on, the mindset to position this team to that next level. So with that being said, we're going to close out this episode as we do all our other episodes. And what we say is, once a Knick, always a Knick.
Let's go. We're getting close to the postseason. Let's clinch.
There it is.
Yep.
So we'll pick it up tonight, fellas.
Pick it up tonight in the chat. Let's go.
Let's put those Grizzly Bears to hibernation.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.